Hello.
enthusiasts and all of our followers at Guard Closet. We are live. Woo!
Woo! Hello, everybody. We are here live. Very exciting. I am amongst a plethora of costumes that I think we're going to be talking about in just a little
Yes.
bit. So
I'm very excited
just
because I love costume designing. And this is like the time of year for it. So we got to
and I
do
think that there's a lot of people that like to fancy themselves as costume designers, and that's great. Everybody should dive into trying it, but there's certain things that you should understand when it comes to it, and some of it's just like basic fabrics and what works well with others, and how to think about things when you're asking your designer or asking your manufacturer to do these things is to have the base knowledge of some of this stuff that we're going to show.
We also have a couple of contestants here. I'm going to go ahead and pull them into the stream really fast. This is Jake and Christina. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Jake's muted.
Uh-oh.
All good. We're going to play a little game later.
Right.
So they're here and one of them is going to be going home with, well, not going home with, they're already home. They're going to be getting sent a Color Guard prize pack for playing our game. So I'm really excited to do this. This is gonna be like a fun little way to get people involved each week. So excited. You guys are here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna send you back to the green room. I'll see you in a little while.
Back to the green room, y'all. I'll see you in a bit. That's so fun.
So
they're fun.
They are. We were talking before the show and we just had a grand old time, and they're super chill too, which is I think the kind of influence I need in my life.
Especially this time of year, right? Like, especially this time of year. I know with us, like with Guard Closet stuff, like it's just starting to like craziness, to ensue. So I think that's why, you and I had this conversation about getting all of this information out to people about costuming and about all the other design that we talked about last week, and gloves and shoes and everything that we're going to sort of go through over these next weeks to like help you at home prepare for your season as best as you can coming up. So
well, and I really love the new like design closet setup, because with design closet, like people you can either have no idea, like if you have no ideas what you want to do at all, you can show up with that, or if you have like ideas. So like for me, I would be like, okay, I want this and I want it to be red and I want it to look like this. And then I can like show up with those sort of outline of ideas, and people at Design Closet over at Guard Closet will be like, hey, what if we did it this way? What if we did it that way? I think having a professional designer go through like your ideas just changes the game so much. I know with our IRA guard this year, I had this idea of, I want them to look like business people. Like that was my idea. I want them to look like business people. And when they take their jackets off, I want them to look like computer chips, and they kind of took that and they were like, oh, well, here's what we have. And they went through and like turned it into a gorgeous color guard costume. So,
it's really key, I think we were talking about this last week. We were talking about design, and that bears repeating when you're talking specifically about uniforms and the fabrics that go in it. Thinking about your design outside of the piece of paper that you're designing on or the iPad that you're designing on is sort of the key thing to it, right? And you could have the best design. If you don't go to the right manufacturer, you might not get the right pattern made. Patterning is like the key to uniform design. It's not the design. It's the patterning that makes the design, because I've seen them, and I know you've seen them too. These lovely pictures, and they're like, oh my gosh, look at this gorgeous costume on this piece of paper. And then you see it on the human being, and it is not remotely what it should be. And it comes down to the person that patterned that look, like where the style line is exactly placed matters hugely, right? And some people will just design, it'll just be like, oh, I'm just going to put this little frilly little line right here of fabric. But if you're not thinking about, oh, how does this cut on a bust? How does this cut on a large chested bust versus a smaller chested bust versus a male bust? You know, all of those things have to be sort of thought about. And if you have the right company that you're going through to do it, they will think of that for you. If you sent me a drawing, I would be able to look at that and go, maybe let's just move that style line up like 2 inches, and that could change everything.
Can I tell you a story? Oh my gosh. So we had this happen when we were in Winter Guard. And one year I was like, oh, I have this idea. We're going to have all these costumes that change colors and it's going to be so cool. And they're going to start out white and then they're going to have like a little skirt that flips down and it's colored and we're going to do the colors of the rainbow and all this stuff. So those of you who've watched our vlogs, you know what show I'm talking about. We got a sponsorship from a company, which I'm not going to name because what they normally do, they do well. They do not do color guard costumes. So anyway, this sponsorship was for color guard costumes. And we sent them these designs and they literally made what I had drawn on the paper. And I am not I am no artist. Okay. Yeah. I just kind of sketched some things out. I wanted to look like this. I wanted to look like that. And the skirt was like a
asymmetrical.
What do you call that? Asymmetrical. It was asymmetrical and it was high on one side, low on the other. Then when you pull it up over the top, it was a one shoulder situation.
Right.
Well, so they made the underneath part a one shoulder situation as well, which, okay, makes sense. But the line literally cut through. So like one entire breast was hanging out. Like, what? How is that okay? How do you think that's okay? It was rough. So we ended up
it was rough.
It was rough. And then on top of that, like the leggings part, I don't know what measurements they used because we measured our students and sent them the measurements. The leggings were like on all the ladies and on all the men. I don't know why. So we ended up like seriously modifying the heck out of those things. Like we added a strap to this side.
Well, you'd have to, right? You'd have to.
Yeah. We couldn't. Oh my gosh. And then we ended up getting skirts. Well, first of all, like I said, they were white. So they had to wear leggings underneath their too tight leggings.
And I will tell this. Here's a key tip with wearing white. And I learned this many years ago, and it is the key to wearing white. And it goes contrary to what you think. You think you're under, like, if you're gonna wear white, especially white, like, you know, you don't want white undergarments.
Right, exactly.
You actually want black undergarments. And I know that sounds weird. But you need to wear black undergarments, full coverage.
There you go. Yes.
Not just a black bra and, you know, black underwear. It has to be full coverage. I know that sucks, which is why I say don't do white. We
did white leggings and then we put a white skirt over them all. So they had skirts on and that changed the game. Christopher is here and he says, key tip, don't. Just don't wear white. Don't wear white.
Yeah. Just don't wear white. It's gonna be dirt. It's outside, especially. I mean, come on. Mm-hmm. Inside, all right, we could get away with it a little bit. It's a little bit different. But when you're talking about inside, like, or outside, like, no. Why would you wear white? You're gonna roll on the ground at some point. You're gonna be a big giant grass stain. Like, you just don't want. Just avoid it. There's a million other things to do. You do not need white. If you're doing a show about winter and you're like, but I want it to all look like snow, do some blue. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's okay.
A nice powder blue would be beautiful. Let's
yeah.
Let's be
give
real
me
here.
some white snowflakes. Don't give me a white, full on white anything. I do like a big white skirt, right? Like a big white skirt, but that's something that like I want to like pull on for the ballad and take off, you know, for the closer, because you just don't want all of that going on.
Or like wings. You could have big wings.
Totally.
And be like, oh, I'm a snow angel.
Right, exactly. And then get rid of it. Well, do you want to do this? Should we bring on our contestants for the game? And then maybe we can then, after the game, we'll start talking about fabrics and all of the fun stuff that
All the fun
I have
colors.
to show.
All right, let's do this. I will bring on Jake and Christina. Hey guys, what's up?
Hi.
So we're gonna play heads up. And so you guys are going to have to like blindfold yourselves, cover your eyes, make sure you cannot see the screen as we're playing.
Jake's got an eye mask. Jake's fully
oh my
prepared.
gosh, I love that so much. Okay, can I tell you
Well,
another
what
story?
does it say on the other side, Jake? What does it say on the other side? I saw that it has words. What does it say?
Oh,
Okay.
No, we're wearing it this way.
there you go. Yes,
There you go.
I definitely had one of those in drum corps, and I wore it on my head during rehearsals, and then like when I was bored or like they weren't talking to the guard, I would just in DCI.
That might be necessary. Yeah, that might be necessary to keep.
I mean, you don't sleep when you're in DCI, so you just
no, you don't. No, you don't.
Well, we have a lovely game, heads up, similar to what Ellen does on, the heads up game. And we have a whole bunch of color guard terminology and some other like things sprinkled in throughout, just some random words that we've chosen. So I'm going to be giving the clues to Jake, and Jake will be guessing the words, and Jackie will be giving to Christina. A little boys versus girls action, I guess.
I'm sorry, Christina. I want you to know my husband and I play this game all the time. I'm terrible at it.
Oh no.
Jake,
okay.
I want you to know my husband and I play this all the time, and I'm amazing at it. So
I'm reassured by that.
I'm
will
not sure
try,
you will
though.
know
I'm
all
gonna
the
try.
words. I mean, I don't know. Based on your age, we could be like, I don't know. But let's see. We'll give it a go.
Oh, so that means we do have an advantage. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So we'll have 1 minute on the clock, right? 1 minute on the clock for me to give as many clues as I can to Jake.
And I'll
Jackie
time
will be
you.
operating the word showing, and as well as be our timekeeper for this round. Let's see, this is our lovely game. Heads up.
Yay.
We can make better graphics. I just threw this together yesterday, so we'll make better graphics. We play this game again. I'm like, this is fine. So we're gonna play heads up. We are gonna skip the first one, Jake, because I know you already saw that one.
First two.
Yeah, the first two.
So is it okay, now I have to ask a question. Is it as many words as we can get in a certain amount of time? As many words as we can get in a minute? Okay.
As many words as you could get in a minute, in 60 seconds. Jackie, you're gonna have to keep score for me and time and hit the button or everything. Maybe I can hit the button. I bet I can hit the button. I can hit the button for myself.
Okay.
I can hit the button for myself.
You hit the button. I've got my timer and I've got my score sheet.
Okay. So I'm gonna skip the first two. Once she says go, you put your mask on, Jake, now. I can skip the first two. We can get set up with the first word. And as soon as I start giving the clues for the first word, Jackie will start the clock, and Jake, you could start guessing away. Okay.
Okay.
And
Are
if
you ready?
need to pass, you can say pass.
Yeah.
You can pass if you want to. I might choose to pass. Jake, if you're like not feeling it, you could choose to pass. We'll pass. Okay. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, here's our first word, and time starts now. So that you rehearse on the marching band
Field.
Correct. This is the wife of John Legend.
Ooh,
Social media person. Pass. Okay. This is the really shiny thing that's on costumes. It's really small.
Sequin.
Yes. This is at the bottom of the costume, like your pants, and it gets when it needs to be shorter, they flip it over and it gets to be
Cuff.
yeah, close. Okay, pass.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is when a color changes from one color to another. Often in costumes or flags, it's like
fade.
Yeah, there's another word for it. Kind
I
of
know
sounds
the
10
like
word.
seconds.
oh,
Pass.
this you throw something in the air and it goes
And
around and it's called the
Oh.
It's time.
oh.
I thought this was actually going to make a sound. Oh, I had it on
Hello.
mute. Sorry.
How many
Do
did
I-
we get?
2.
Jake.
That's okay.
Jake.
Two's good. Two's good.
2's good. I feel like 2 is good.
Two is good. Two is
You
great.
missed.
Oh,
You
it was
missed.
that.
You missed ombre.
That's the word.
I feel like ombre,
missed-
like I know it more about hair
Yeah.
coloring.
Yeah.
Ah,
I really
Hair
know all
color.
of these things.
That's right.
and hem. Hem is the thing at the cuff that was at the bottom. Sequin you got.
Sequin.
Chrissy Teigen is the wife of John Legend.
Okay.
It's okay, Jake. I wouldn't have known that one either.
Yeah.
I would have.
All right.
I wouldn't have been able to give you very good clues,
Location.
though. It's all good. It's all good.
All right. Miss Jackie, are you ready for your 1 minute on the clock?
Okay, you have the clock and the score for this one?
I have the clock and the score for this one. You've got the
Okay.
clicker.
Got it.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
You are
Okay.
good. We've got Christina. She's blocking her camera.
I love it. Love it. Okay.
I love it. Christina, she's ready to go.
It's my hood.
All right, here we go. First question. Oh, this is the state. It's a state where WGI championships are.
Illinois.
Oh, no, it's close to that one, though.
I don't know.
The city is Dayton.
Ohio.
Yes. This is a dance move that you do when you bend your knees.
Plie.
Yes.
Oh.
This is Britney Spears' ex-husband?
Kevin.
Yes. Oh, this is something that you wear on top of your body as part of your costume. Like all the way on the top. It may or
Hat.
may not. But there's like a different word for that.
Covering.
Sometimes it's like very
10
small.
seconds.
Pass.
Okay. This is something you can use as a big floor tarp to pull out, but you see them on the side of the road all the time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Time up.
Dang it.
Time up. Time up.
Oh, okay, what was the one I missed before that?
That was headpiece.
Headpiece.
I would have to be like, oh, it's a piece of something you wear on your head, but that would.
If you said crown, I would have been like headpiece.
Ah, dang it! Yes, I should have said like crown or tiara. Well, see, so Jeremy has these headpieces, and he keeps pulling them out to show them, and that is what I keep picturing. So, and you got Kevin, and you got. Well, how many did we get total?
You got
3.
3. You got 3. It's just a little win. It's not a big
Little
win.
win.
It's
It's a little win. It's a little win. Ohio.
Well,
I thought you said DCI. I didn't hear WGI.
Ah, okay.
Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go.
I was like, it's so close. Illinois is like one state away.
I heard I. I heard the I part, and I was like, "Oh, DCI." I was like, "No, WGI."
That's great. You both did wonderful. Very exciting.
Good job, Drake.
Good job.
Well, and since you are our first contestants to ever play the game and you are our guinea pigs, you'll both receive the guard closet prize with stuff inside. So we certainly thank you for playing our game. And I think that was a lot of fun. And I think we could do that again, right, Jackie? That was lovely.
Absolutely, this was a good time.
Yeah, that's fun. That's a good time. That's a good time. That's good. That's good. That's called quality content, folks. That's called quality. So do you want to get into talking about some costumes? Jake
Yeah,
and
let's do
Christina, feel free to hang out. If you guys gotta go, like you could go, like up to you. You know what I mean? Like I know this is like go ahead.
Oh, I was to say I'm gonna send them back to the green room
Okay,
and we
back to the
can
green room. We might bring you back
finish
in,
the chat.
especially if you have questions or you want to say something or you want to ask something. Definitely put it in the little chat that's there and wave your hand and get our attention. And we'll go, hey, Jake and Christina have a question, because I think it is sort of interesting because
Yeah, we can
Jake,
pull you guys in.
Jake is sort of a performer, not sort of. Jake is a performer just kind of getting started, right, in the color guard world. And Christina been doing this for a little while, teaching and marching and all that kind of stuff. So like, this is good. This is a good little matchup, a good little, panel to have. So if you like, we show something and you have a question or like want further information, by all means, let us know. And if you're watching, on at home or whatever, something happened. If you're watching at home and then Jake, please let us know if you have questions about what we're showing. I have lots of stuff here to show, to be very specific for you to ask questions about, right? Like this is the reason why we have all of this stuff. So Jake and Christina, if you've got questions, let us know. We'll move on.
Okay, I actually have a comment here to get us started. Adam is watching and he says, white is a blank canvas. Colors just make it better. And I feel like we are about to talk about some serious colors right now.
We are about to talk about some serious colors. So let's sort of start with kind of like the basics, right? Like the sort of basic color guard costume that everybody's seen and whatever.
I love that one so
yeah,
much.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, right? So
it like matches my backdrop.
Oh yes, it does. Look at that. We love it. So let me just kind of talk about like what these fabrics are just at first. So like, just so you can know, this is called micro sequin, sometimes called like Jaja, but mostly referenced as micro sequin. And micro sequin comes in, every possible color there is. Usually there's a base fabric, which is, the base fabric is a stretch, and it's going to be one color, and then your sequin on top can be gold or silver, sort of depending, on what you want. This is just your basic lycra, your basic stretch lycra. That's those solid colors. It has a little bit of a sheen to it. It's pretty much what every color guard costume is made out of, either lycra or velvet. Both are stretchy. Both do that. This is just a little more flat and a little more matte. So like, this is kind of like your basic costume. A little mesh in the back with some sequin on it. Actually, I think this is just like a glitter dot. You can see it sort of looks like rhinestones from far away, but it's really just a glitter dot on this like nude mesh fabric, on this tan mesh fabric. This, okay, not so bueno if you have a diverse color guard, right? This is not so good if this is
then it's got to be changed out for each person depending on their skin tone.
So in those circumstances, if you're a group that has a diverse color guard, just don't do this open back. This would be perfectly fine if it was, the sequin on the front and sequin on the back, or if you want to do a different color, but you don't need to do the open panel to show.
Well, I was gonna say you could actually make that an open panel, and then each individual person needs to get an undergarment that matches their skin tone. That would be an option too.
Totally. That's 100% exactly what you could do. There's mesh that is you could get that's maybe blue, right? Like instead of doing it as a skin tone, do it as a blue, and then whatever skin tone is underneath of it doesn't really matter. So this is kind of like your basic look, a little bit of faux buttoning on the front, cute little, rouging here to hide all of the, stuff we don't want to see, right there. Nice little knee-length dress. Like it's, it's fine. It's lovely. It's perfect.
It's a very flattering look.
Yeah. And this is like where color guard kind of has been for, years and years and years and years. This sort of like, simple fabrics constructed together, made into an amazing garment. And then, I don't even know, like 10 years ago, 12 years ago at this point, everything started to be printed. So it went like full on print to where everything was just one solid print. And, that's what it was. And, this is great. This is lovely. This is actually, this is a band top. And this is what we would call an engineered print. Okay. So this engineered print is going to be fit to every size, meaning this circle, and this circle will be slightly different based on the size of the costume, but it'll be relative to the size of the costume versus this being the same size on every single person, right?
Yeah.
That's going to not look the way you want it to, right?
Well, it's like when you get t-shirts printed, like have you ever had t-shirts printed, like they're like, oh, well, if you have, you know, these bigger sizes, or if you have these teeny tiny sizes, we have to adjust the print and make a whole new screen for it. You
do, because and once, like, if you're doing extra small and the print is this size, that's going to fit most of the shirt, right? If you're doing extra large or 4X and the print is this size, you know, it's going to be this little button in the middle of this whole thing. So you have to scale it, you know, and most places do that. But this is sort of the engineered print, meaning this is exactly the same on every single garment, every single wear. There's other prints that you could go, I don't know if I have an example of that here, but there's other prints that's like would be a flood, say, and that flood is like, I have this like this beautiful logo that we want to put on all of these skirts, and it doesn't matter where the logo goes on the skirt. You just want all of these like different things all over the skirt. Then you'd get a flood, and then that's just a straightforward print run, and then the skirt gets cut however the skirt gets cut, and everybody sort of looks a little different, and that's fine, you know, that's okay. So the print is kind of where everybody went to for a while, and since I have this band top in my hand, I'll just say, like, band tops matter in terms of the fabric that is used to make them. Yeah. There's different kinds, and it's not kinds, it's different thicknesses. So I have an example right here. This band top, which actually was a reveal. This was underneath of something. So if you could imagine, this whole entire band got two band tops. This band top is thinner because they were getting two. They wanted the smaller, the one on the underneath to be a little bit smaller. So you can't really tell, but this is significantly thinner than this one. And I would say, yes, this is going to be cheaper, right? It's going to be cheaper. And there are companies out here that will make this for you and charge you for this, and it will be the equivalent of the shirt you get at Walmart, right? Yeah. Like, it's got to be that thickness. Like, I mean, we're talking about costumes, so I think it's okay to say this thin. If a boy, let's say, or anybody is wearing this without undergarments and it gets a little cold out, like, it's gonna poke through. Like, that's inevitable. Yeah. A bra strap's gonna poke through with this thin material. So when you're looking at buying band tops or color guard tops or whatever that's just printed, pay attention to how thick and like what the manufacturer is doing for it, because it makes a big difference. Under this thickness, which is probably almost twice as thick as that other one, you're not getting anything showing underneath. You're just not. So I think that in of itself is a reason to, like, you know, work with a designer or work with a company that isn't just going to take your design and, like, you know, throw it out and make it on a crappy, you know, piece of fabric that's going to make your design not look good. Saturation is also super important. You can see that these colors are bright, right? Like, sorry, these colors are bright. This might look different on your screen, right? You're designing on a computer screen, typing, drawing, whatever. You send it to a designer or manufacturer. If the manufacturer is not doing their job, right, then they might just send your design right to print, and it might not be as bright and colorful because on your computer screen it looked like this and it was beautiful and amazing, and you might get it back.
Pastels, like, what? Pastels? What?
Yeah, because saturation matters. Like, it being super saturated in the colors matter. Anything starts to fade, like, forget about it, right? You can even look, this is even smart design. Here's like another key tip. Like, here's smart design. Every shape on this is outlined in a black outline, right? So that as you get further away, the things still stay defined as shapes. They don't, blend into one another. So if you want that real hard, like, definition, you need to make sure that it's outlined in some sort of like base outline. Been amazing. Print is wonderful and everybody loves it and it's great. And then it kind of got boring because it was like, well, that's all you're kind of really doing with it is printing, you know, and whatever. So then we're swinging back sort of at least to a middle place where we're starting to combo like print and regular fabrication. Here's a great example of a simple, inexpensive little dress. Well, it's not dress because it's leggings, right? But it's got this little, you know, this little skirt that goes around, cute. The skirt is just regular Lycra. The skirt isn't printed. They made sure to match the color of this to what the ombre, that word that Jake didn't get the right? They match it. So if you're going to do something like this, you need to make sure and think. So like the sleeves are Lycra, and then they added in the little print trim. So this is an example of a flood, right? Like this is probably just a flood of this particular print. And then they cut it for the collar and the sleeves and the leggings and the little belt, right? Got wrapped in this, you know, in this fabric. So this is like cute in terms of like being able to mix and match, right? Regular fabric with a print and, you know, getting more of a like a textured look, I guess, is really what it comes down to, right? Is like making it a texture and not just a flat sort of thing. So I love this. I think this is cute. I mean, you could literally take this and change this print and change the colors and change the print of what this is into like any number of bajillion things.
Seriously,
and
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that so much. Oh.
Yeah. And here's the thing to think about when you're looking at costuming, whether it's in a catalog or online or whatever, look at it from the silhouette standpoint, right? Like what it's made to look like. This is a short sleeve, little, you know, short skirt with leggings. Find the silhouette you like. This, do you like, you know, just a skirt silhouette, right? This is a different silhouette. And then change what's happening on it. Just because, you know, you saw this, if you called us up at Guard Closet and was like, I love that silhouette, that's going to work great for my kids, but obviously my show doesn't need paisley and pink and, you know, it's about thunder and fire and I need to change it. Sure, no problem. That's easy. It's still going to be a custom look. It's still going to not look like anybody else's, but the silhouette's what's going to save you money. If you go to the company and say, you already have this pattern, I just want to change, you know, what's printed on it, then that, first off, that manufacturer is going to love you. And secondly, you're going to get it much quicker, much cheaper, you know, because it already exists. It already exists. So please, by all means, like make your life a whole lot easier. Am I just going?
I was gonna say, I love that about like the digital designer. Like when we were doing all that stuff for the digital designer, was it last summer, I think? And just talking about that, because you have the silhouettes, all the silhouettes are programmed into the computer, into the program, and you just change whatever you want to change on it. You put your own designs on it, put your own patterns, and then you can, you know, make your adjustments however you need to. It comes out so pretty.
Yeah. When they started on the printing, they were just printing on Lycra, and then people started to go, well, maybe we can print on other material. So they started printing on micro sequin. So this is a printed micro sequin dress, right? Full micro sequin. This is micro sequin all the way down with this black.
I would love to see that under like some football stadium lights on Friday night. Oh my gosh.
I mean, forget about it, right? Forget about it. Like, you know, this is everything. This is heavy. This is heavy. I mean, it's just a lot, right? It's beautiful, but it's a lot. And there's an expense to this, right? Micro sequin's already expensive, and now you're printing on top of it. So when you're talking about like, oh, I want that, I love this printed micro sequin, I love that. Think of a simple silhouette, right? Because this is a simple silhouette that exists everywhere. So now when you're doing it, like it's not going to be as much. If you got a printed micro sequin with a brand new silhouette, cost just keeps going up, right? In this scenario, it's just very like, a simple silhouette. I even love how this is Lycra, right? Key tip here, right? They did a Lycra, simple Lycra thing so that this wasn't what was on your arm.
Yep.
Right? So like this micro sequin against your skin, especially under the armpit, can get really
scratches.
nasty. Yeah,
I tell you, we did micro sequins a couple of years ago for our 2020 show, and we did them like before that too, and just like we would take clear packing tape and put tape over the sequins everywhere that they touched the arm, and that's still like they like literally they would wind up with tiny little cuts on their underarms or like here, like just because the sequins can do that. And that is brilliant, putting the Lycra on the edge like that. That fixes so much.
And you know what this does too? Is this just made it go like whoop? It just took your silhouette in just a little bit and just made you like just a little more like pulled up. You know what I mean? Like it just
taller and
yeah. Just lifts you up. Now, what I will show you up close, if you can see, and this might be a little difficult on the camera, is because they print on the micro sequin. Okay, so you could see this micro sequin right here is black because it's printed, and this isn't, right? But if you pull away, and it's kind of a little hard to see maybe, but if you pull away, see how there's white within that black right there?
Okay.
That's because the print isn't going under the sequin.
Okay.
Right. So
I was actually wondering that.
Yeah. So think about that. It's the sequin, and then the print gets put on over top of it. So whatever color the fabric is underneath of the sequin, it's going to show through. It's not really going to be noticeable. It's not. I mean, you'll never see it from far away, but it does dull the shine of the micro sequin ever so much. It does get a little more dull towards the bottom. And you can actually see, you can really see it here when I pull it apart.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Like, see.
Honestly, though, there's still like the micro sequins are still super, super shiny, like even with the printing over them.
Yeah. That's yeah. And so you just get that little bit, you just have to know that, I guess. You know what I mean? Like you have to know that when you get it, you're like gonna go up to it and you're gonna go, oh my God, look, it's got all of this stuff on it. That doesn't make any sense. Well, it's, it
makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Be realistic. There is another process called Genesis, and Style Plus uses Genesis, which is almost the reverse of this, right? The way that Genesis works is they print on the fabric and then the metallics get laid over top of it.
Yeah.
This is not the best example, but this is an example. This is like an old example.
I might have a Genesis flag sitting here.
Yeah. So this is the first iteration of the Genesis flag when it happened. So you can see this is micro sequin and it's laid over top of the fabric. So it's smooth, right? It's nice and smooth. Hi, Andre. It's nice and smooth, but it's it's nice and smooth. That's what I'll say. It's nice and smooth. It's probably not as shiny and sparkly. Like you can kind of see, like this is supposed to be micro sequin. So like this is a micro sequin flag, right? Shiny, right? Whatever. And this is a micro sequin, dress. It's sort of the same. It's there. It all's there. So, when it comes to like adding sparkle and whatever, I'm of course all for it. Like the more sparkle, the better. Like please give it to me. But it's just about being smart and how you're doing it. Going through a design company, going through a company like Guard Closet, getting with us, to help you through that. You don't have to think about it. We'll think about that for you. That's sort of the lovely thing.
Sorry, I thought I had a Genesis flag sitting right here. I literally had like 3 of them. And I don't know.
Yeah, we'll do like we need to do like that as like a thing. But anyway, I just kind of also wanted to show some other options, right? Like to just think about, because again, the boring printed top is tired and, maybe it's not tired. Maybe I'm just sort of tired of looking at it. But this is another band top that our company Show Day Designs made. and it's a, you know, sleeveless. This isn't, you know, it's an ombre. It's there, right? It's all there. But they, instead of doing it, added a mesh sleeve. This is a burnout mesh, and I can show you better on kind of what that means, right? Looks like the stocking when it gets ripped. But you know, it's for that rugged look. So adding this onto a sleeve just changed that sleeve completely. I love that you love that, Andre. I've got other things to show Andre. That's
Andre be looking. He be looking.
I'm gonna be looking. That's an amazing sleeve. Where's this one? This here, another little added little bonus on with your band top, right? This sleeve is short, right? This sleeve is long, and this is a little shoulder detail that goes on the side, right? Again, it's got some thickness to it. Could change.
It, like,
I mean, this is,
well, it's going to change your look so much how you're standing. You know, if you're standing straight to the audience, if you're slightly turned to one side or the other. I feel like that is that an indoor percussion look?
Could be.
I feel like that would be perfect for them.
Yeah, and this is the mystique, right? This is shiny, so like you could this is the thing, right? Take this silhouette and say, I like this as a silhouette, but you could get this printed to be whatever you want. This could be whatever color you want it to be, right? Like completely change the look, but not look like everybody else. Not look like you just bought a band top, right? It's possible. It's possible. The other thing I wanted to show is that one band, this band did two looks for the one band. The band itself was dressed in one costume, and the drumline was dressed in another. I don't know what the color was wearing. So this is what this maybe was what the band was wearing, and it has a hood, right? Super cool, right? This is sort of like this has micro sequin on the sleeve, and then a lycra sleeve. So not printed. Save some money, not getting a printed sleeve. Get the lycra sleeve, matches the lycra helmet, and look, a printed zipper.
Oh, it's not a real zipper?
No.
Oh, that's so cool.
No. A printed, and then printed zippers on the side, right? Like from far away, you would never know that that's a zipper. Here's the key tip. Here it is. Oversized. Look at the size of that zipper in comparison to the size of like my zipper on my jacket, right? Why would you do that? Because if I stand all the way over here, it still kind of looks like a zipper.
Yeah, I can still see like the pull and everything.
Yeah, like that's what you want. That's what you want. So over exaggeration of an element on your costume, actually shows that element. If this was made to size, if this was made as a normal size zipper,
you'd never see a zipper, which is great if you're trying to hide zippers, which is what we usually do in color guard. But if you want it to be seen, like having that oversized zipper is beautiful.
Yeah. So like that's what the band wore, and then the percussion wore literally the same exact thing, only in all gray.
Love it.
Right. And so if you want to hide your drum line because they're terrible,
about the micro sequins and everything, a lot of people get up in arms about having men wearing sequins and having manly men wearing micro sequins and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't think of it like that. I think of it more like, think about like chainmail and how like reflective that is and how like manly that looks or whatever. But like it has a very powerful look to it. And that's kind of how I think about it as like, it's not just this silly, prissy look. It looks like metallic and hardcore and Oh, Andre says he loves the gray a lot. He likes the gray a lot. And everybody deserves a sequin. It doesn't matter if you're more masculine or more feminine or what. Like it's about
everyone deserves to sparkle. Everyone deserves to sparkle.
Exactly.
I did want to show this because I just think it's lovely.
I do.
This is like sort of like the combo beyond all combos, right? Yes. This is printed micro sequin with a printed velvet. This is actually printed
Ooh.
velvet. This is different than the Lycra. This entire outfit is actually printed velvet. Look, this is even printed down on the leg. Right?
I love that
Look
so
at
much.
that. Right?
Yeah.
Look at that. It's printed. It's this lovely brown. It's this lovely brown. Looks like a little red on the screen. Lovely brown that goes down to this like ombre printed flower that calls back to the flower up here. Right?
And that's such a great way to highlight like you want to like emphasize this leg and give so many more visual options that you could do with it.
Yeah. This is a mesh. This is called mesh, stretch mesh. Right, stretch mesh. Little flirty skirt. This mesh usually can come in like you should get some sparkle on that too. Obviously it'll cost a little bit more, but you can get this with a little bit of sparkle. I maybe would have done a little bit of sparkle right here, right? Because this is all sparkly here. Add a little sparkle, but budget dependent, right? You can't do that sometimes. You can't do that. So like that's okay. But I love this. Because look how this lines up, right? See how this is, and then ombre, like the pink, like kind of starts where the pink starts here, and then it just kind of gets deeper, right?
That's gorgeous.
That's called design. Right? This is what you pay the designers the big bucks to do, is to like create this. I've been at this for a really long time. I'm nobody's designer. I wouldn't have even like gone this far, right? Like I would have probably gotten this to be like a regular white, but like to ombre it, to match it up with this, like this on the leg, like that's like a whole other
that's a whole level
of thinking. Yeah. And some of us just aren't that. Like I'm not that. I can do, I'd get some of this basic stuff, but like there's like a design level up. This is actually old school color guard, even though what I'm about to show looks like amazingly new. This is like kind of how color guard used to be constructed. So this is fully sewn. There isn't any print on this at all. This is all fabricated. So this is like a burnout, right? It kind of looks, see that, into this mesh. Right? You can see that. Like, I don't even know if I can get my arm through, maybe. But like, it comes through. Flesh color comes through. Flesh color kind of comes through on this burnout, which I think is super cool, right? This comes in a whole bunch of different colors or whatever. It
makes me think like apocalyptic type of shows,
exactly
dystopian zombies and stuff.
Yeah. They created a new fabric, right? By taking the burnout and placing it over Mystique.
Ooh, okay.
So you can see where is it? Down here on the bottom, that's the same Mystique. So this is the same Mystique panel as is under here,
gotcha.
Right? It just obviously looks very different because of the burnouts over top. So like, look, can you imagine? Like, look at this. Sequin, mesh over top of Mystique, over top of green Mystique. This with a big burnout back skirt. I mean, this skirt is like sort of everything in terms of
nice.
Right? And then, a legging, a velvet lovely legging. So, I mean, it's still like, this is like, last fall, I think. So it's not as if this is something that is gone away, like these beautiful, amazing, just cut and sew costumes, like no print added to it. This is probably like easily a $200 costume. At minimum, a $200 costume.
Yeah, I was gonna say that especially those small pieces, like.
Yeah, all of that detail on the front. I mean, look at it. It's got it's got a frilly collar. It's got mesh. It's got burnout. It's got literally has everything and the kitchen sink on here, other than print. Everything but print. So, But
you can create a look like that with print too, and like have the cost be much lower. And it just depends on like what kind of fabrics you want to use, and if you want to do the printing, like how you want the printing to be. And I feel like that is you know, a lot of people look at that, they're like, oh, that's way out of reach budget wise. But that's why you get a designer who can take it and say, okay, well, that's out of your reach budget wise. Let's see if we can make these adjustments. And having a designer who knows what they're doing, they can make those adjustments and really bring that cost down. What would you say those printed costumes would be like? That I mean, we're talking $150, $100,
I mean,
like bringing them back down.
Yeah, I mean,
into budget.
yeah. I mean, you're definitely now the printed micro sequin, you know, that jumps back up, right? But if you're just talking about sort of like your basic printed, like I think that this is one I didn't really show because this is sort of minimal in terms of the print that is on here.
But that's
this is
cute.
similar to another look that we did. This is similar to another look that I showed earlier with that little skirt around it. This is just a little half skirt on the side, belt still. This is still mostly sewn, but like this is a print flood of this and this used, right? So somebody wanted this print, so they printed it, and then that's what it is. Here's the other thing to note. The undersides are always going to be white.
Yeah.
And I think you just kind of have to, we have to accept it. We just sort of have to accept that. Thanks, Donna. It's lovely.
Yeah.
I think this is more of a side skirt and less of a back skirt. Actually, I think it would be qualified as a 3/4 skirt because it goes all the way around.
I like that. It kind of like shows the yellow and it lengthens the look of your leg. So it's like, oh, I've got a longer leg here, and
you've moved your leg all the way up to you've moved the leg all the way up to the hip. You know what I mean? The color starts right here, so it's like one big, long, lovely line of yellow.
Yeah.
On the front, on the back, it's not that color.
Yeah.
They really like, actually, I think this is more of like a side stripe. But anyway, so like the skirt goes 3/4 of the way around and just leaves the little yellow opened up. But yeah, this is probably more in like that 130, 150 sort of range costume. It's not a ton of print. This is a velvet and a lycra, some little buttons, you know, zipper in the back, jumpsuit, ready to go, you know?
Yeah.
But I will say, like, you know, on any of the prints, you know, it's white underneath.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're gonna get that. The solution, sometimes you can print on black. Like if it was gonna be like a black skirt, and you wanted to print on it, you could print on black, but then you have to realize that you're printing on black. So like not all colors are gonna really show up. So that's why pretty much everything is printed on white.
Or what's the option of like getting things lined? Like, can you get like make a jacket maybe and then line the inside with whatever color you want?
You absolutely could. I mean, I was going to say like, looking at some like skirts and stuff like that I've seen of Style Pluses there, and they double a skirt, it's double the price. Like that's the, you know, that's the kicker, right? It's double, it looks amazing, but it's double the price. It's easily double the price. So just be cautious and conscious when you're thinking about that, right? Like maybe you shouldn't do a full printed, full skirt, you know, like that first example we had, this one. Like if you did this in a full printed skirt, when that skirt twirls around and opens up, it's going to be white.
It's going to be white underneath. Yeah.
You know, and like, if that's the look you want, that's great. Go for that, you know. But
if you're like in the clouds or something and you just have like a nice light.
There you go. There's your snow. There's your snow look right
there. There's your snow.
There's your snow look right there. But yeah, so just like be conscious that that's going to be a thing. So maybe not make the skirt a printed skirt, you know. The ombre, you know, it's white underneath. Now with this skirt, I'm okay with it being white underneath, right? Because when it kind of flows up, it gives a little bit of relief. And because this is so heavy, it's not really like doing all of this like flying through the air business. It's kind of like staying very grounded in terms of that. So I think that the possibilities are endless when it comes to print and combining the two. You know, I just say be really cautious about it.
We have a question about it here, actually. Donna wants to know, can the back side of the fabric be printed as well?
It won't run through twice. They won't
Yeah.
run through the actual fabric twice because it's going to bleed and they have to heat press it. And this is like a whole process. So like, then the colors literally will bleed together. Right.
Yeah,
Like,
you'd see
when you
like
get
both patterns or whatever.
yeah. So it has to be literally double-sided. So that's the unfortunate thing. It looks amazing when you've got a double-sided printed skirt. There's a couple of looks on like Style Plus of like this one girl with this flame skirt that's like held up like this, and it's like, and it's gorgeous. It's like, $285 for that, that costume, but it's gorgeous, right? So like, you get what you pay for. You totally get what you pay for when you do things like this. I just wanted to note too, with band tops specifically, because it's becoming such a big deal now to get printed band tops. There's a ton of manufacturers that do printed band tops, and some of them are amazing, and some of them are going to just take your money. So be very cautious. Don't go for the deal. Don't look on the web, don't look on Facebook, and don't get that email saying like, big deal, like this super cheap price on this. If it's a super cheap price, it's going to be super cheaply made. Like it's just inevitable. The rule of three with design and purchasing is you can have it fast, you can have it inexpensive, or you can have it well made. You can only pick two of those things of the three. You can't get it fast and well made and have it cheap, right? You can't have it fast and cheap and have it be quality. You have to quality and cheap, not fast. So like all of those things need to be thought of when you're doing it. When it comes to band tops specifically, because it is so new and people are just willing to like print on whatever. I mean, I just can't tell you how annoying it is for me to watch a marching band come off of their buses in terribly printed tops that just make them look like schlumpy. And like, it's like, why did you even bother to get that printed band top? Completely unnecessary, right? Like, just wear your normal band uniform. At least you look pulled up.
Right. Yeah. How many years have we been using normal band uniforms? Like, there's no point in making the change if it's not going to make you look better.
Right. Oh, the band director's like, oh, but we're having a cool show. Get the money to get like spend an extra $10 because literally in most cases it's between $5 and $10 per garment to like make it a better quality fabric. Make sure you're getting the right thickness of fabric, right? The construction has to be there. Like this band top doesn't have a zipper. So if that's going to be annoying to you because you don't want to hear the kids complaining about getting it over their head, then make sure you get one with a zipper, right? And that's going to cost more money, but it's going to cause you less headaches.
And that might be something that a director might not even think about. He might be like, oh, well, I just want it to look like this. But if you have a designer on your side, if you go to Guard Closet and have somebody who like knows what they're doing, they might think about that and be like, oh, hey, but your kids are going to say this. And then the director might be like, oh yeah, you're right. Okay. So. Oh
yeah, you're right. I'll spend the $5 more to not have the headache of the kids saying, I can't get in my costume. I can't get in my costume. Because that's what's going to happen.
Exactly.
That's what's going to happen. So there's a couple of other, there's a couple of things like there's different manufacturers that do different lengths of torso for band tops. This is a shorter torso. This is a size small. So even like a regular shirt, it's shorter than a regular shirt. So when you get this, it's going to sit more, right at the belly button or like right in that range. And if that's not that's going to give you, if you have solid black bibbers underneath that you're wearing because you're wearing this on top or whatever, you can get printed bibbers for your band, but sometimes it's just easier to keep it black. Do a little ombre to black, here. Like if this was a super bright costume, like this one maybe, you can see actually on this one, they did the smart. This is what a designer does, kids. Here's what a designer does. A designer goes, ooh, I should ombre this to black. Why should I ombre this giant, beautiful thing to black? Because chances are your bibbers are going to be black. And now you've made this look like one long line of a costume versus like a top that like cuts you in half, right? This just
Yeah.
makes it one fluid look all the way up. That's smart design. That's smart design. This ombre is smart design.
Love
Just
it.
you know, doing it is exactly the opposite of what you should do. But band tops come in a variety of lengths. You could get ones that have a little bit of a longer torso. You could pay a little bit more money and have a shoulder built out on this a little bit that looks a little bit more like kind of like the old school band uniforms. Is that the style? No, is that your style plus one back there, Jackie? Do you have the style plus one in the background?
Oh,
Is that what that is? No.
I don't know. No, these are really old. So these are from like that. I think they're Stanberries. So they're really old ones.
Yeah. There is like, so you could imagine that one with that one band top that we had that had the silver shoulder pad.
Yeah.
They'll
Yeah.
put
Building
that
those out
under the band top. And so it just, you know, just gives that little bit of like, okay, now I'm in a band uniform versus a performance top, right? Like this is kind of a performance top, and then a band uniform like kind of gives you those shoulders and really goes for it. So
awesome.
some have thumb holes. You could get these with thumb holes so that when you like extend your arm,
yeah, you put your gloves on and you don't
like,
have
so it's like fully extends out.
Love
so
that.
there's a ton to think about when it comes to costuming. It can really stress a lot of people out. And the worst thing is to like go through this amazing design process and then they arrive in August or the beginning of September and you're like, oh crap, that's not what I thought it was going to look like. So
honestly, like seriously, like talk to somebody, even if it's not necessarily like hiring a designer. Just, you know, last week we were talking about those Facebook groups about color guard instruction, and there's so many different ones about design and things like that, and you could just talk to somebody. There's so many people who have so much experience that are willing to just share what they know and what they've been through, and they can, you know, help you out and refer you to other resources and things like that. So it's, nobody has to go through this alone. And I think that's the thing I want to really stress with this, is that nobody has to go through this alone. There are people who can help you, and there are people who've been there, who really know what's up. So definitely.
Well, I see Christina is still hanging out in our green room. I think Jake had to run off to another business, but maybe Christina, you have questions? You want to say anything? Throw in, like, was this informative to you? Do you appreciate this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've only been teaching. This will be my 5th year, and like the guard kind of was not in a good mindset when I got it. The instructor that was there previously was very abusive. Kept telling them they needed to lose weight and and it was like, oh no, you don't tell high school girls that. No.
You put them in a beautiful, flattering costume.
Absolutely. They were telling them about unitards, and it was not pretty. So I had to be a mother hen and tell them, like, look, you are all beautiful. Let's work with this. Yeah. And my first year teaching, like literally, I had nothing. I was like, I asked my band director, I said, I need poles, I need bolts, and I need silks. Because we don't have any of that. We have broken poles. Everybody had uneven bolts. Like they weren't even weighted, bro. So I got everybody weighted right. And it was like, oh, look, everybody's doing cross spins at the same time. Yay! But my first costuming they did Clue. How do you dress a guard for Clue as members? So,
do you want my answer? Because I can give it to you.
Go ahead.
So this is my thought with things like that. And it's very interesting that you bring that up, right?
Yeah.
Don't go for the obvious. I mean, you kind of got to go for the obvious, but not the complete obvious, right? So like with Clue, for example, depends on how big my color guard is, right? I got to see how big that color guard is. But my inclination is that it all goes like black or gray. And that everybody sort of looks like the servants, the people of the house, right? Like Clue takes place in a mansion, right? So like my idea is the color guard would be like the maids and the butlers and all that kind of stuff. And then like maybe the percussion captain is Professor Plum, and the drum major is Miss Scarlet, and the pit person is, you know, the other one. And you kind of reference those throughout. But like I don't like literal costuming, right? You should be interpreting something.
Yep.
It's funny you say Clue, because one of my first indoor shows was Clue, and set up, like the board game. I set up like a board game, and there were 6 rooms, and for the 6 characters, and each character stayed in that room the whole time. There's a really good show, and I kind of stole it like from 1992 or 3 or something. Alliance of Miami does Hotel California. All of the performers. I
love that show. Oh my gosh.
End all beat all of their they were like, it was 4 rooms, right? Each color, primary color, and the performer in that room, one was a saber, rifle, flag, dancer, were in that color costume. They stayed in that space, and all the rest of the
Stuck in their
performers
room.
were in the black and wearing black. So like, I always go to those places of like, how do I take the concept that's being presented to me and twist it? Like, I just don't want to see a Frozen show with a bunch of Elsas out on the field. I don't want to see that. It's too obvious. It's not designed. It's not smart. It doesn't. Or let's do a superhero show and everybody goes to the Halloween store and buys a superhero costume. No. Make all of your performers the people that are like in the superhero movies that are going to get trapped or going to get whatever, and make them that, and like do your superheroes on a flag, or do something like that. Don't do the obvious. That's what I think it boils down to, is don't do the obvious.
Well, we'd spent so much on poles and trying to get a silks, and I think they even ordered new sabers, which fell apart the first week, that I had very little for my costuming budget, and ended up doing primary color leotards with high-waisted black leggings. That's all I could do. That's all I could afford. And
Like
we actually had a band mom that made the high-waisted leggings, so that helped out a lot. Because like my captain,
if you work with a company, they will help you. They will help you. They will. You could come to Guard Closet and say, my budget for the entire season is X, and we will say, all right, let's prioritize, what's going to work best for you. Let's find you a super inexpensive costume that looks great, buy you an amazing new flag, design something that's perfection, get you something from consignment that's going to be super cheap, and then a plain swing flag for your ballad that will just look lovely. And if you have the people that have done this for years and years and years, have tripped over themselves hundreds of times,
and Andre and Christopher, and all of our designers at Design Closet.
You're going to the people that want to help you and want to see you be successful. That's like the best thing you could do, literally. Literally.
Well, we did
cost anything
last year, and we had somebody make Dorothy's costume because the band director wanted to go from sepia to colorful. So we had somebody design the apron so that all she had to do was take it off and flip it around. Just same. We ended up having everybody go to Goodwill to find their Munchkin costumes. That's where our
see. I'm gonna. You're gonna need to put your hand out, and I'm gonna need to smack it. Bad, Christina. Bad, Christina. No. I don't ever want you to do that ever again. You need to raise your hand and promise that you will not send your children to the Goodwill to get their color guard costume. You want to talk about having an amazing season and making them feel like their best, and you're putting them in old clothes. You're putting them in old clothes, and you want them to feel amazing. This will make them feel amazing.
I know.
This sparkle will make them feel amazing. Do you know what won't make them? Here's another key. This is what I will also say when it comes to a small budgeted color guard. Put them in something that is beautiful. Spend your money in the uniform. Don't spend your money in the flags. It's not worth it. You could get a solid color flag, or some inexpensive used flag that will fit your show just fine. You have to get these kids into something that when they put it on, it's their super suit, and they want to just jump in.
It makes all the difference.
Oh yeah.
All the day.
Oh
All the
yeah.
day. The right style lines, the right sparkle, the right anything. Like, just give your students that opportunity. Flags, you could borrow those, right? Like don't spend money on flags. Small budget color guards, do not spend your money on flags. Spend your money on a costume. It could be a $60 costume and like black leggings underneath. A $60 little $40 tunic that's like lovely and printed will make them feel amazing. Don't put them on that anymore. Bad Christina.
I love it. Guys, we are running out of time. But this has been awesome. Like, seriously, I feel like we need another episode on costuming, just a whole, like, there's so much more we could talk about. But
yeah.
We didn't get into color theory or like anything like that. Like none of that.
Hopefully everybody's gotten a lot of like educational stuff out of this. And if you have more questions, of course, contact us. We will be back right here, same place next week at noon Eastern time. Subscribe to Spintronics, subscribe to Guard Closet. We will have lots of educational content. Christina, thanks for coming and playing the game.
Yes. Winning the heads up.
Winning the game. Everybody's a winner here. It's great.
Everybody's a winner here. And I just want to tease. I know Jackie doesn't. I mean, Jackie knows what I'm about to talk about. It's not a surprise, but we do have a big show coming up on June 14th, which is
Flag Day.
Do you know what? Do you know what it is? Flag Day. Flag Day. We're doing a big show. We haven't figured out what it's called yet, but let's just say we're going to be on here for a while. And we're going to be giving you information and selling, very QVC, home shopping network vibe, great discounts, big discounts, like all those kinds of things will be happening on that June 14th day. So make sure you show up for at least part of the day to watch.
Be here for that. It's going to be so much fun. All right. Great. Well, thank you guys so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this with all your friends. And I will see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.